Hello, friends, and welcome to another exciting episode of Today with Tally. The mission and goal of this podcast is to bring an engaging conversation that will add value to the lives of everyday people. We will inspire, encourage, educate, and tell the stories of America's finest men and women in an effort to motivate you to live your life to its fullest potential. Be sure to follow us on social media and search Today with Tally. Be sure to subscribe, follow, and share the program as well. Ladies and gentlemen, your host of the evening, Mr. Brian Tally.
Welcome back to Today with Tally podcast, where we add real life value to the lives of everyday people. We are on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Anchor FM, Spotify, and About Face Radio. Simply search Today with Tally and be sure to like, share, and subscribe to get every episode and stay up the latest and greatest our guests and this show have to offer. Folks, today's show sponsor is author John Henley. Now, John is a respected best-selling author who served in the United States Navy on submarines and then went on to serve as an officer of the CIA. He is now living out his dream as an author and is giving back to the community he cares deeply about. If you are an aspiring author and need a mentor, perhaps you want to collaborate with a best-selling author, then contact author John Henley today. John has developed a unique program that specializes in helping military veteran authors get recognized and gets you the exposure you need to be a successful author. John believes that writing, creating, and using your imagination in putting a book together is a healthy way to deal with post-traumatic stress. It is a wonderful coping strategy to occupy your mind, body, and spirit while surrounding yourself with a positive and meaningful hobby. Contact author John Henley today, and he can give you that final push and encouragement to reach your goals. Visit authorjohnhenley.com. That's authorjohnhenley.com and select your story and follow the prompts. And folks, when you're there, check out his new book release, Charlie. It is a series, part 3 now of Alpha, Bravo, and now Charlie. You will not be disappointed. Now, folks, we have a very special guest joining us on today's program. And with that, I'd like to bring in Osvaldo Gutierrez. How are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing? Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. The pleasure is all mine. You know, you are a grassroots lobbyist with Concerned Veterans of America. But before we jump in there, I want to learn a little bit about you. In your military service, you are a former United States Marine combat veteran. How did that all play out?
Oh, hi, everybody. My name is Osvaldo Gutierrez, and I work for Concerned Veterans for America. I'm a Grassroots Engagement Director in Houston. And yes, I was in the military. I spent 4.5 years in the U.S. Marine Corps. I was with 3rd Battalion, 1st Marine Division, stationed out of Camp Pennington. And I did 1 tour in Iraq. I was there for the initial push.
Mm-hmm. And where are you originally from, Osvaldo?
I was born and raised in Mexico. And then when I was at the age of 16, I came over here to this country with my family because everybody lived here. And after that, I went to school. That's when I decided I want to be part of the best. So I joined the Marine Corps. And after that, I began continue with my life and my career as a police officer here in the Houston area.
Much respect. When I went to boot camp, with 3 folks that were from Mexico, but they actually came to boot camp from Texas. And they wanted to serve for the United States of America as Marines. And that is a huge, huge deal of respect that I have for anybody that's willing to do that, to leave a country, to come to the United States of America to better yourself, but then to also say, you know what, I want to serve for this country because I want to thank the country for everything it's giving me and my family on this reset, if you will, on giving your life and, the quality of life that, you deserve and that, the quality of life that your family deserves.
That is true. When I first came, I remember I used to have a lot of friends that joined the Marine Corps and talking to them on the daily basis. That's when I realized how important it was for me to do something different. And I took the initiative and I went to spoke to a recruiter. And then after that, it was a good time in there.
So are you a baseball fan?
Yes, I'm a baseball fan. I love the Astros, Houston Astros.
You've got like the perfect name to be like a baseball player. Like Now batting for the Astros, the first baseman, Osvaldo Gutierrez.
There you go. There you go. I wish I can be that good. So I can be able to.
Man, I love it, man. You got the perfect name. Well, look, Osvaldo, you are from Jalisco, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mexico.
Correct.
You joined the United States Marine Corps. You serve some time abroad. You get out and you come to Houston, correct? And
Yes.
you serve as a police officer on the Houston Police Department?
Yeah, that is correct. After I left the service, I believe it was in 03, close to the end of 03. I joined the police department here in Houston. Went to the academy, and I worked there for 16 years. And then after that, my wife was telling me that I have to do something different, that I was capable of do something bigger. And this opportunity came over, and I realized that what I'm doing right now, it was meant to be for me, because I see things. My whole life is about serving people. As you know, I was in the military and then police officer. But I thought that I was able to do something bigger for my community, which is the veteran community, and for the whole country, which is I decided to join this organization. And after that, I've been blessed. Get to meet a lot of people. My co-workers are fantastic, and it's just phenomenal. And I have the opportunity now with this organization to go talk to different people from different communities, different backgrounds, military, non-military backgrounds, and be able to tell them exactly the stuff that we're doing as an organization, how we work together, how we empower people, so they can be able to understand why we do what we do at the end of the day, just to help veterans.
Mm-hmm. Now, how old were you when you came to the United States from Mexico?
I was 16.
16 years old. So
yes.
You had a year and a half to 2 years to really develop into the culture of the United States before you got shipped off to boot camp, correct?
Yes, correct.
So what was that like? I mean, that had to have been some very crazy times for you. What was that experience like?
I remember very well. It was tough at the beginning because it was a different culture. It was a culture shock. When I first came to this country, you know, my family, my brothers, they were born and raised here in the United States in Houston. So they were able to help me how to cope from leaving my country to come to this country. And when I went to high school, I went to Stratford High School here on Spring Branch ISD. I was there for 2 years, and the people that I was, getting together, like what I was dealing with, they were very helpful. Mm-hmm. They started teaching me the proper way, how to live in this country, which is completely different from Mexico, and how to respect their culture, how to respect their habits and everything. That's what I was able to understand, how proud Americans are for their country, and I wanted to be that person too. So when I went to boot camp, it was crazy, as you know, but it was fun. It was challenging at the beginning, but then if you don't take the step, nobody's gonna you have to do something for yourself to be better. But it was pretty fun. I remember the instructors yelling at me, calling me names, making me do crazy things, but I guess it was part of the game for me to become a Marine. So I took the challenge, and then I was very happy and very proud after I finished boot camp. But that was but it was fun. It was super fun.
I love it. Osvaldo just said, I took the challenge and I earned the title Marine. Man, that just gives me goosebumps, especially, you being from Mexico and you come here and loving the United States of America so much that you say, you know what, I want to put my life on the line to go serve this nation that I'm grateful for. And I'm grateful for the opportunity. And that right there, folks, if you learn one thing from this podcast today, you heard it right here from Osvaldo. Now, it takes a great deal of courage to join the Marine Corps, but I know it also takes another leap of faith and great deal of courage to go into the Marine Corps boot camp with having that language barrier. how was your English when you went into boot camp, and how was it when you got out? You probably learned a lot of cuss words and all the other stuff in English, but I mean, what was that language barrier like?
When I went in there, I was able to communicate and I was able to understand everything, but because I didn't have any say so while I was in boot camp, I was just following orders. It was kind of easier for me because I didn't have to express myself to so many people because I was just a recruit. But when I was talking to my fellow recruits, at first it was kind of hard because my accent, it was super thick. Now I still have an accent, but it was super thick. And then people from different states, they were having troubles understand me. People from Texas, they were okay. They were more familiar with my accent rather than people from up north because they never. I remember that I have 3 or 4 recruits friends that they never saw a Mexican in their lives. That was the first Mexican they ever saw because they were living, I believe, in I think it was Montana, I believe, North Dakota. So they didn't have any exposure with the Mexican community. Mm-hmm. So, like I said, it was just, I was adapting to every single thing. I was trying to do the best that I could have done, so it was pretty fun. It was challenging. Yes, it was. But once, like I mentioned earlier, I was already there. So I was not going to go back and pack my bags and go home.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, you nailed it. It is culture shock. Mm-hmm. When you first get to boot camp, then you realize, hey, we're all green. You know what I mean? We're all green and we all bleed red, and we're all here, to claim and earn that title Marine. So, mm-hmm. It is definitely an experience. And, again, it's, something that we'll always learn for the rest of our lives. Now, you would go on and you would serve honorably as a U.S. Marine, and then you would get out and then you would continue your service, and that's why a lot of people join the Marine Corps. They want to get out and they want to continue their service. And a lot of the times they choose police departments because, 1, police departments are always recruiting Marines. And 2, it's another way to give back to your community. Now, you would end up serving in Houston on the mean streets of Houston for 16 years. Now, what was that transition like, getting out of the military, getting out of the Marine Corps, and then hitting the streets of Houston and becoming a police officer?
It was different because of the Marine Corps. It was just straightforward. Everybody knew what they were doing. When I became a police officer, the only difference was there were people joining the police academy with me that didn't have any military experience. So my standards to do things, it was higher on mine from other people. Don't get me wrong, they went to college, they deserve the right to be there too. But when it comes to teamwork, when it comes to accountability, when it comes to be responsible for your own actions, be in time, those little things, they were kind of hard at the beginning because they were regular civilians. So they didn't have they have a structure, but not as tough that I had when I was in the military. But it was fun. I met a lot of great people. And I'm still friends with a lot of them, and they're awesome. But it was a little bit different because now dealing with the youth community, that's when I started learning that everybody was different. I was dealing with the Latino community. I was talking to the white community, the Asian community, the Black community. So everybody had different backgrounds, different needs, different just the language. I wasn't able to talk to somebody from River Rocks the same way that I would talk to somebody on the southwest area of Houston because they would never understand me. We would have some problems talking to each other. So, but it was good. It was good. I think it was one of the best decisions that I make after I left the Marine Corps. At my second decision. So I was exposed to a lot of things. And it was great for me because I was able to help people, their community. I was able to talk to them on other words because that's what they call the police when they're having issues, problems. They're been robbed, assault, things like that. So I get to see the ugliest part of Houston for those years. So But when I was doing my job, I was able to help these people one way or another. It was so grateful, so good for me because I knew that I was accomplishing something. Even if I was not going to solve their lives or their livelihood or anything like that, I was able to put something, a sense of hope for their problems. And I was able to guide them, trying to like for them to they can fix their own problem at the end. So giving information how to do this, people relationships, say you need to take these classes, you need to have be better for yourself, you need to love yourself, things, those kind of advice that I would give these people, with my community. But it was great.
Yeah, you touched on something that's important. When you're going through the academy, you had stated, hey, look, I'm already leaps and bounds ahead of these guys because I was a Marine. And a lot of these other, PD recruits were, fresh out of college and, weapons and safety handling and, shoot, don't shoot type operations and techniques and, being physically fit and knowing when to engage, knowing when not to engage, knowing when to just talk somebody down rather than, go all in and use force and, and just having that sense of camaraderie and knowing how to speak to people. I think that's very important on becoming a police officer in today's day and age. So, I mean, I could totally see, why they want Marines, joining the police force, because again, you guys are leaps and bounds ahead of the rest when it comes to like literally everything. So when you served, do you have any memories or maybe a favorite, experience that stands out to you?
Are you talking about when I served in the service or as a police officer?
When you were a police officer.
One of the things that I remember, it was good, it was bad. It was in 2009, I believe. That's when I got shot. I was dispatched to a specific call. I think it was a suspicious vehicle, and ended up confronting three suspects. One of them took off running, and I started chasing him after him. And when I was getting so close to put hands on him, he turned around with a 9mm, and he shot me. He shot his pistol about 12 times and hit me twice. After I was able to, withdraw my weapon, return fire, and be able to stop the threat, and ended up in the hospital. Now, that's when I realized how important your family is, the support of your family, even as a police officer, how all the police officers were there for me, and those, because it was it was a pretty rough scene. I was bleeding. It was a lot of people around. It was cold and it was dark. And one of the memories that I have, it was see how the other police officers reacted to come and help me. I got officers from different districts, K9 officers, off-duty officers that were working extra jobs. They showed up as soon as they heard on the radio. They were there for me, trying to help me. And the process for me to overcome injuries and things like that, it was at first it was kind of hard because it's a lot of paperwork. Even though I was in the hospital, a lot of interviews, internal affairs, all these people trying to like get your story. And then, I was still in shock. I was in pain, and then it was tough. But the officers that I served with, because they were there for me, it was something that I keep that as a good memory.
So you serve in the United States Marine Corps. You're a combat veteran. You get out. You join the police force, and in 2009, you are shot in the line of duty. And again, you can't make this stuff up. But you know what? All police officers say there's no such thing as a routine call, and I'm sure you could testify to that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you're right. When that call comes on the radio, officer down, you get a show of force, kind of like being in the Marine Corps in a way. You're going to get everybody. And, and I know that's got to make you feel damn good and damn proud of the police force that you're serving, as well as the city that you're serving, to have that many people show up again in a show of force for their, brother who's laying shot, in the streets, and just looking for some help. And again, I also know why your wife said, "Hey, it's time to find a different career, Osvaldo,
It is.
because I'm not liking this whole police thing. I like what you do. We appreciate you, you serving the great people of Houston, Texas, and the surrounding areas. We love, the provider that you are to our family. But man, you really got to try to find something else that you're passionate about." And that brings us to Concern Veterans for America. Now, you would end up leaving the police force and joining as a Grassroots Engagement Director for Concerned Veterans for America, right here in Houston, Texas. What is, for our listeners out there, now I know what Concerned Veterans for America is, but maybe not a lot of our listeners out there listening today don't know what it is. So can you please explain what Concerned Veterans for America is and what exactly your job title is?
Okay. Concerned Veterans for America is known as a CVA. It's an organization. It's a nonprofit organization. They are built by veterans to work for veterans. Basically, we advocate for policies and trying to preserve the freedom and prosperity that we as a family that we fought and sacrificed and defend. Basically, we engage with the community. We're trying to educate the community. We're trying to empower people in the community so they can become an activist, so they can start working, so we can work together. And by working together, we can continue pushing for what we deserve as a veteran. That's what we do. We do advocate for veterans on the federal level. We do engage with the community. We educate the community, and we let them know what's happening with their veteran community when it comes to different VA healthcare reforms and things like that. Also, we work closely with other organizations that have the same vision. So the bigger we are, the better we're gonna be when it comes to making something, when it comes to accomplish something. Now, my role on CVA as an engagement director, basically it is just to put the people together, to be the voice for the people, educate the people, and when there's concerns of specific issues that we're working on, so I can be able to bring those concerns to the lawmakers, so the lawmakers can be able to hear what the community that are asking for. Because at the end of the day, when you go and then every time there's elections, you vote for the specific representative, and those are representatives that work for the people. The people doesn't work for them. So we're trying to define a line in between so we can work together on both ends. We're a non-partisan organization, so we work with anybody to the left or the right, as long as we have the common vision and that we can work together for the same goal at the end of the day.
You were a Marine, and then you went on to be a police officer. Now, doing what you do right now as a Grassroots Engagement Director is absolutely the opposite, the polar opposite of those two other lines of work that you found yourself in and did a great job in, and performed those duties and those jobs honorably. What inspired you to kind of cross those tracks into the advocacy world, and additionally in the veterans advocacy world?
At the end of the day, it's just a challenge. I knew when I was in law enforcement, I knew that my face, what I did, I was already everything that I accomplished, I was already satisfied with. So for me, there was time to find something new. And when I found this about this organization and I understood everything they do for veterans, I saw myself something bigger, not just with the Houston community. I'm talking about everything that we do is national wide. So everything that I do here in Houston is going to have an effect in California. It's going to have an effect in New Mexico. It's going to have an effect in New York, Florida. So me seeing the big picture, be able to push something, educate the community, so they know exactly what's happening out there. For instance, if you're gonna have, there's a lot of veterans that having problems trying to get being seen by the VA because of the wait times, and unfortunately, sometimes it's just so many veterans trying to seek help, but there's not enough facilities, or their time is just to wait so long. What we're doing here in this organization, we're trying to promote healthcare choice for everybody. For instance, I don't think it's fair for me to wait 10 days to be seen for my first time, and then you have somebody in San Antonio that the waiting time yesterday, it was 110, 105 days, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So you see the difference? There's people that they go to the VA and they don't have any problems, but there's veterans that do have problems. What about those veterans? If I already have a choice to go somewhere else and be seen because I already served my country, I already have my honorable discharge, I went to war, or on my end, I think I deserve to be taken care of. A lot of people, they don't understand the whole process, and there's not enough information out there to provide to help veterans. So when I saw the whole thing, I'm like, you know what? I think I can do good, and I can inspire other people, so we can work together, we can engage together, and that way we can continue fighting for the same goals. At the end of the day, will be veterans, their families, their community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you had brought up wait times, and the way it's supposed to work in the VA now is if you have to wait over 30 days, that you are eligible to be choiced out into town to go into community care. Now, we have a mutual friend in Kimberly Moyers, and that is who put you and I together. As she is a veterans advocate in Texas, primarily in this area of Houston. She began to go to these out in town medical facilities that were supposed to be community care for the VA. And she found that a lot of these community care clinics had locked their doors, and they didn't even, and they were not there. Like, they went out of business. Or they moved and they didn't tell anybody. Have you seen a lot of that going on in the Houston area?
I spoke to her a couple of weeks back, and then she was telling me about this. That she found a couple clinics that were closed down, and they were still. If you look on the internet, they were still active, as if they were serving people. I haven't seen truly to see what's going on and what's happening in there. But hopefully we can be able to do something in the future and start figuring it out. The problem is the lack of information. Let's say 30 days after, if you have to wait more than 30 days, you qualify to be seen somewhere else based on the law, which is what is the name of the one that former President Trump signed a few years back, the Mission Act. That Mission Act, it was turned into law. That will give you the opportunity to choose or to go somewhere else, to be referred to another clinic, another location if you don't be seen within 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, and that I see based on my experience and the experience that I have, people that I talk to, is when the VA personnel, they won't give you the information unless you ask for it. And then sometimes it takes, you have to wait 30 days, and then you get recommended to go somewhere else, and it takes another 2-3 weeks before you can get the phone call from the other clinic. And then if you miss the phone call, automatically put you back to zero.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to start all over again. One of my friends, one of my colleagues, Jonathan Ramirez, he qualified for to go somewhere else to be seen, and it was for his at least his glasses, eye vision test, and things like that. So he went to the VA, requested to use community care, and he qualified for it. But it took him about 2 weeks, back and forth, calling back and forth, so they can finally, finally they told me, okay, oh yes, you qualify for this. Mm-hmm. After Jonathan told him, yes, I've been using community care for the past, so I know that I qualify. So he was referred to this clinic, and then 2 weeks later, he received a phone call, but he was at work, so he wasn't able to pick up the phone. So when he called back to say, "This is me," they kept switch the phone call. He was transferred to another clinic, and then he was transferred to another clinic. It was transferred to another clinic, but he was never able to find a solution for or anything for that specific appointment. So finally, it took him about a month for him to be seen on community care after he qualified after 30 days. So it is hard. Now, the thing that we're working on it when it comes to the true choice, we're trying to basically that's exactly what it is. We're trying for the VA to give you what every veteran deserves, and in order to that to happen, um, because we have so many veterans in the specific areas, we got so many outdated clinics. We got clinics too far away from other specific locations because veterans keep moving on the daily basis. Like maybe I have a 1% of veterans living in Texas, and then next year a lot of people are going to be moving, so and they're going to be shifting to other states, or maybe they live in San Antonio now they live in Houston. So the population keeps shifting back and forth, but the clinics are still in specific locations. They don't do nothing in order to expedite or to help the veterans in need. We're trying to push this bill. The Senator Blackburn, she's gonna resubmit it again this year. Is the Healthcare Freedom Act, which is going to allow veterans to have the freedom to go to different any community care to get community care, and the specific bill is going to help create more pilot programs for veterans that they need the most. Like if you are super ill, they're supposed to help. Supposed to create those specific pilot programs, so they can help you, so you can be taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, a lot of people use their own personal insurance because they're divorced, they're retired, or half the VA is working based on the experience. And because of that, it is hard for us to, like, sometimes I talk to veterans and I say, you know what, let's work together. Let me tell you what's happening. And some of the answers, if they're 100% service connected, they'll be like, no, I'm good, because they get TRICARE. Or they're 20 years retired. They say, I'm okay, because they get TRICARE. But what about the people that get 60% or 50% service connected, that they're ready to get free care, but they don't get the care? So they're ready to pay out of pocket to go to private clinics rather than go to the VA, because it's just horrible. The experience that you go when you go to the VA is horrible sometimes.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I agree. I mean, there's good things about the VA, there's bad things about the VA. It's not a perfect place. It's a giant bureaucracy, and it's hard to navigate those treacherous waters, because that's what they are. And you never know what you're going to get. But the problem that I've seen with the community care, getting choiced out, is that the veterans only have so many places to choose from, and the VA is going to choose what's closest to your house, what will fit your needs, or whatever it may be. And I've seen through my experience over the years is that they're shrinking, because the VA, from all the research that I've done, they're not paying their bills a lot of the times to all these veterans that are seeking that community care. So at some point, that doctor, that that medical facility is going to say, we're done taking VA patients because we haven't gotten paid in 6 months or 8 months or a year or whatever it may be. So now it limits that community care. So it's almost like sometimes going to community care is just as long as a wait, is going to the VA. And it takes a lot for the VA to go out there, for the federal government to go out there and sit down with all these medical providers and put together a plan and negotiate pricing, and then for the doctor to say, yes, we accept these terms. But again, it seems as if it's a one-way street, because there are many of these providers that are not being paid.
Yes, it is true. Unfortunately, that's what's happening a lot. I heard from stories from people that I talked to them from my community, and when sometimes they refuse services because the VA doesn't pay their services, and sometimes they get billed. The parents, they get billed for the services because the VA declined because apparently they don't go through the proper channels. When there's an emergency or something, you cannot just wait 30 days. You cannot wait 45 days to go see to get sick medical care. You have to take care of yourself. So you have to, sometimes you have no choice. You have to go to those private clinics. You have to go to those community care places or clinics to get help. And then when the VA refused or tells you, you know what, you don't qualify, or you don't even, you never submit the right paperwork. But that's how you gonna do that when you're already there, and then they take care of you, and then the VA refused to cover, and then the doctor or the clinic will send the bill to you, and then you have to fight with the VA so they can compensate back the money that you pay already. So it is hard. Unfortunately, like I say, we pay the right when we serve on the armed forces in this country, and it was promised to us that they were supposed to take care of us. And now, when you leave the military, if you don't know, if you are not a VA savvy, you will never get back. You will never get the help that you need from the VA. Like I said, for some people, the VA is great. For others, it's not. The experience is just horrible. Why not working together with the people who make the decisions, work together and find a solution for the problem? Sometimes, yes, those people are super busy people, but they have to understand we have a large community of veterans, and they're just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then let me give you an example. The Vietnam era, most people are already fed enough, and some of them they never got the care the way that they needed, because they're already like on third level. They're, unfortunately, they're old, getting old and old and old. So they're passing away little by little. But Vietnam happens 40 plus years ago. They never took care of these people for 40 years. Now we got the new war 20 years ago in Iraq, and then Afghanistan, and then we have 20 years and still open the war. We still got troops in Iraq as of now. And you keep sending money, sending resources to these countries. When there's no plan behind, we know that war was a failure, and we still having troops over there, and we still have casualties happening as this past month. The month before that, I think it was 11. This 2020 was 11. 2022 it was 12, 17. We still have people in other countries that we're not supposed to be. Now, you keep sending troops away, and then when they come back, you don't even do them, at least give them what we deserve. Nice, not even welfare. People on welfare get better care than we do. I'm serious. If you talk, I got family members that are on welfare, and they give their benefits. They have great benefits when it comes to medical, but they take care of them one way or another. And we serve, we fought, we went overseas, we come back, and then there's really nothing for us to guarantee anything that whatever they're supposed to be giving us is hard. That's why I think my job is really important, and that's why I'm so passionate about it. Because if we don't do our work and our end, the other people sitting behind on the people that we elected, they're not gonna work with us. If they don't see us working together, coming together, they're not gonna listen to us. So that's why I think it's super important that we get together. Even though people have different views when it comes to the VA, that, like I mentioned earlier, it's okay. If you are okay with the VA, it is okay. But what about the brother next to you? What about that brother that lives in a different state? I got a friend of mine. He took his life a year and a half ago. He was in the Marine Corps. He was in the Army. He served in Afghanistan and Iraq. He was getting treatment. He was given a lot of medication for his pain, PTSD, all kind of different things. And finally, the VA decided to shift his treatment, and then they stop giving some sort of medication. So he went on cold turkey. So when he went to the VA clinic on Katy, he was red flagged because he was causing problems, because he was in a lot of pain. He was just seeking for help. And then he was red flagged, and he was sent to the main hospital in downtown area, medical center. When he was there a couple of times, he was only given 1 or 2 pills, and he was sent home. When he was supposed to be getting so much medication for his pain, for his PTSD, things like that. He was going back and forth, and finally, he even sent me his wife sent me a video when he was inside in the lobby from the and the VA hospital, crying. He recorded himself crying, them asking for help. If you see his face on this video, you'll be like, wow, what's happening? He was begging these people for help. These people decided not to do it, and then he went home. Later on, he took his own life, and when his family, his kids were home. So I hear a lot of those stories. I hear those all over the places. So if I'm healthy, but I can still be able to put some work to help other people, why not doing it? Like me, I'm not 100% health. My health is not 100%. I still have some issues. I work with my issues, my personal demons on a daily basis. But I'm able to work, and I'm able to make sense out of my life to do something better. A lot of people, they don't have that chance. They don't have the opportunity. A lot of people, they just leave them alone. Nobody cares about them when it comes to VA, the relationship between the VA and them. So they're just, to them, it's just like there's no purpose for them to continue being alive. So that's we have so many people kill themselves or taking their life. It's a 17 a month. It used to be 22, but it's a 17, the statistics of how many parents take their lives. 17, that's a lot. And I'm talking about every day, 17. So if somebody asks you, would you do something? Would you become an activist with me? Would you talk to your congressman? Would you send a letter to your congressman? Would you sign this petition? Would you do this for one of the 17 people to prevent another 17 people to commit suicide or to take their lives? Most people will say yes, but when it times, everybody wants to be a grunt until it's time to be a grunt. I don't know if you heard that. Everybody wants to be a fighter until it's time to fight. Mm-hmm. And that is okay. Not everybody's a fighter, but if you want a simple letter to your congressman, hey, I do believe that these parents deserve better. This is what we believe. This is how they have to be a change. It doesn't have to be like a big movement or rallies or things like that. It takes this much to make a big impact in somebody's life, which is I've seen everywhere. I know I lost a lot of friends in Iraq. I lost a lot of friends after the war because then they are taking their lives. They cannot cope, PTSD, things like that. And I'm pretty sure I don't know if maybe you know a lot of people that you met before, or that you talked to them before, or that you served with. They're no longer with us because their lack of care from the VA to them. Sometimes, if you don't want to get help, that's okay. It's your choice. But there's people that are asking for help, and then they're being refused in getting those helps. And it really, really sucks. Mm-hmm. Like me, if I live in San Antonio, there's a clinic in San Antonio. Let me tell you which one it is. What is the? I had it right here. Where's the clinic? I don't want to give you the wrong information. Okay. There's a clinic, Shabano Park VA Clinic. In San Antonio, it's 51-day waiting time. Another one, Pecan Valley Clinic, VA Clinic. In San Antonio, it's 100 days waiting times. I'm talking about today. I just checked that today on my phone. So you can see how hard it is. If I live in San Antonio, I have to wait 100 days. Then there's people that they don't have any medical care. They don't have, they can barely make it on a daily basis. So they're retired, or they're, they don't have the funds to pay a big money to go to the Methodist hospital, or to go to, one of those big names hospitals, because the bills are going to be super high. If you go to the ER, it's about $3,000 at least, just on a visit, on a emergency. It's a lot of money. If you don't have insurance, it's a lot of money. But then these people deserve, and they're ready to be taken care of by the VA, and they're just left alone. They don't really care.
You said a lot there. And unfortunately, it's It's all very true. You started with, we send money overseas daily. Our American hardworking taxpayers are footing the bill for things that we have no responsibility on footing the bill for, while our nation's veterans suffer. And unfortunately, I have spent many years working in Congress, walking those halls, going door to door, urging lawmakers to do the right thing. And, I don't understand in the United States of America why veterans have to work so hard to receive the simplest of benefits. But another thing you were saying, everybody, wants to be a gangster until it's time to do gangster shit, right? I mean, that's the term, right? Everyone wants to be a Marine until it's time to do Marine shit. And it goes the same way with advocacy. Everybody wants to sit on the sidelines and whine and complain about how bad they got it, but they don't want to get in the fight, because getting in the fight hurts. And getting in the fight is hard, because citizen advocacy is exhausting, and it is a tough job. You don't sign up to be an advocate just because one day you say, I want to be an advocate. There's got to be something there that you're passionate enough about to say, you know what, I need to stand up and fight for what's right. Because if I don't stand up and fight for what's right, who is? And really, that is our duty, Osvaldo, as Americans. It is our duty to stand up and fight for what's right, because that's who we are as Americans. And it seems as if a lot of our politicians have forgotten that. And they are so concerned about foreign policy and what's going on in other countries, and they have neglected the very fabric of what keeps this nation together. And one of my good friends, Congressman Morgan Luttrell, was just elected. He's already doing big things in Congress. I've already had several great meetings with him about VA policy and reform. And I brought up to him one of the agenda and talking points I had was about the red flag laws. And folks, we're not talking red flag laws about guns. We're talking about red flags being marked on the veteran's medical record when he goes into the hospital as being noted as a problem patient. Now, what the VA has failed to understand here is that the veteran population is an at-risk and vulnerable community. And you need to treat that veteran as such. These veterans are trained to go into combat. These veterans are trained killers. If this veteran is suffering from post-traumatic stress, anxiety, depression, physical pain, and they get agitated, the slightest little thing can set these guys off. And then they go into crisis mode. And then VA police is called. And then that never ends well. This is why we need veterans to be taken care of in a way that will make sense and that will be meaningful for everybody that goes to the VA looking for help. And I do sympathize with you, and I do offer my sincerest condolences to you and your friend, your fellow brother that passed away due to suicide, because it didn't need to happen. And unfortunately, I get hundreds of text messages and private messages on Facebook and on my email every single month. And they describe to me and they paint these pictures of insanity, of egregious care. And it doesn't need to be this way. And there's a lot of great nurses out there and clinicians and doctors. But a lot of the problems don't lie with them. It lies within seeing them. It lies within the bureaucracy. When you start to peel back this onion, it ain't the doctor's fault. A lot of it is scheduling and getting past that line of bureaucracy and literally cutting through that red tape. But what veterans need to understand is that, guys, we are so much stronger aligned as one. If we can figure out how to form a leadership and have a leader to march us to where we got to be, you will start to see change in the VA like we've never seen before.
Mhm.
There's too many people on the sidelines that are comfortable in their life, that are stuck in their comfort zone, that don't want to stand up and enter and engage into the fight again, because it's hard
It
and
is
it
hard.
takes time and it takes passion and it takes preparation and it takes all these things here that exhibit what it takes to be a successful advocate. And here you are, Osvaldo, doing the hard work. You're teaching other citizens how to become an advocate. You've created that grassroots coalition. What is next for you, being the grassroots director, if you will, in the Houston, Texas area? Do you have any agenda items that you would like to discuss to perhaps maybe get some of our viewers or listeners involved in helping you and helping Concerned Veterans for America getting these bills across the finish line?
Yes, the things that we have planned out for the future is basically we're going to continue working with different communities. We do have a lot of table events. We do a lot of classes that we get to get. Once we get a specific group of people, parents, that will have to participate in classes. We bring our leadership team so they can teach them exactly how everything works. And I do a lot of I go to different events through Harris County, Montgomery County, so I can be able to speak to people face to face and show them how they can take action. If anybody would like to take action they can always check organization website, which is CV4, the number 48.org. And you can find so many different ways you can help us. There's so many ways that you can get information about specific topics. All you got to do is sign up, and then and all the information will be there. You can also reach out to me. You can call me or send me a text message, or you can call me on my cell phone number at 281-910-2966. I'm available every single, as long as it's not after midnight, of course. But I'm available every single day. If you have anybody has any questions, anybody have any concerns, or maybe there might be, you know what, I have a group of my community that would love to attend one of your events. I can be able to facilitate that to them. I can go through them, or they can go up to me. Our office is located about Katy Freeway, on the Energy Corridor area, close 777 Katy Freeway, Suite 105. We have our office here, and then but like I say, we can go to you, we can go to your schools, we can go to your organizations, we can go to your meetings. So I can be able to, if they can give us the time, we can be able to speak to them one-on-one, or I can be able to speak or have somebody speak to them as a group. We got different chapters here in Texas. We have one chapter in Dallas area, another chapter in the south side of Texas. We have another chapter in Abilene, Texas, and the one I'm here in Houston. We do take care of entire Texas. We have more chapters in different states as well. But when it comes to Texas, you can reach out to me. And if you have friends in Lubbock, you got friends in El Paso, you got friends somewhere else, I can be able to help you get in contact with somebody in the area so you can work with. I'm trying to create coalitions with different organizations, because like I mentioned earlier, the bigger, the stronger we are going to be. And when they see, if you see the masses, thousands of people coming with the same goal, same vision, people are going to turn their heads and they want to look at you and they want to listen to you, because they're going to see the power behind your community.
Right.
My goal is to build armies with the community so we can be able to make a change for a better way for the veterans and the veteran community and their families, of course. Because without veterans, this country will be nobody.
Exactly.
Without our military. And the whole country is based on the military, basically.
And you know, we have an all-volunteer fighting force. Everything that we've seen happen really since, you know, Vietnam is when it started to get really bad. You know, when these service members are coming home, I mean, you know, with Agent Orange, they were called baby killers. They had eggs tossed on them. And really ever since then, man, it's been a really hard run, for the veteran community. There's been endless wars, generational wars, and you have generations of kids that are growing up and now that are living their own lives, and their grandparents and great grandparents now. When they see how a lot of service members are treated when they get home or when they get done with their service, a lot of kids these days are saying, why would I want to put myself through what I've seen them put my dad through? Or why would I want to sign up for this? And if we're not careful, we're going to lose that all volunteer, military. And when that happens, the draft is going to come back, and that's not going to be pretty. And it's going to wake a lot of people up. So how do we prevent that? Simple. We take care of the veteran community. It's really simple, guys. I mean, we have all the money and resources in the world to do it, and our American taxpayers don't have a problem in doing that. But what American taxpayers have problems with right now is we're sending all of this money overseas in planes full of cash, and it doesn't make any sense, and it's not doing the veteran community or really any other community with infrastructure. I mean, there's so much I can go on and on and on about in our country that could use the funding, but it's not getting funding because we're sending it all to people who hate us. But again, at the end of the day, that's for another podcast. That's for another podcast, and that's a little bit outside of my pay grade because I'm just a guy that's trying to figure it out just like everybody else is. So Osvaldo, we got a few minutes left, man, and I really appreciate you coming on, but I always like to end the show with some encouragement. We're living through some tough times, and you're a guy that many people look to for strength and inspiration. What kind of encouragement could you leave with our listeners today?
I would say this. Do not forget that you're not alone. There's always somebody that you can reach out to, somebody for anyway. If you feel that you are having troubles, if you are fighting with your demons, if you are going to the cycle problem, or you are stuck in this cycle that you cannot leave, you can always reach out to anybody. The goal for you to be successful is to take the little step. You take one little step and it's going to take you further where you were the day before. Sometimes it is hard to do it, but once you take the courage to do it, you're going to be better. You're going to be in a better way, better position, better place because you reach out to somebody. Don't let your proud, don't let your pride, don't let that hold you back. Look at me. I came over here to this country with zero English. My English is kind of messed up still, but I went and I put myself in a lot of challenges and I surpassed every single one. I became a U.S. Marine. I'm a Marine. I'm a combat vet. I went to Iraq, become a police officer, served for 16 years, and now I'm working for this great organization. If I can do it, anybody can do something better. And that's all I got. That's all I got.
Osvaldo Gutierrez, you are a great American and you are a shining example to all of us. A lifetime of service, and you are not done yet. And I believe you're just getting started. And I love your accent because you sound like Jose Altuve. You really do. Has anybody ever told you that before?
Nope.
Oh, yeah. I'm start calling you Tuve. What's up? Listen, and like our great friend Osvaldo said, guys, look, only you can save you, right? You're fighting your demons. Only you can save you. And he also said small steps, guys. It's all about baby steps. Get 1% better today than what you were yesterday and take those small, manageable steps. Mm-hmm. We can manage things when they're small, but once they start to get big and blow up, managing that, it becomes tough. And that's where these crisis moments come in, and action will need to be taken in trying to get you back to the X, get you back to medium. So folks, Thank you so much for joining us today, Osvaldo. We sincerely appreciate everything you have done and continue to do in the military and veteran community. Your service, sacrifice, and dedication to our great nation is truly admirable.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. Thank you for the invitation.
Yes, sir. Folks, remember to stay inspired, stay encouraged, stay motivated, and always stay in the fight. Until next time, for Today with Tally, this is Brian Tally. Good night. Semper